trade deadline. So we've now established that Mike Misick is going nowhere. Like, let's not do this. Let's not mess around there.
Trade deadline's Tuesday, right?
Yeah. But this offensive line was banged up and needed additions prior to Liam Eichenberg's, we believe, season-ending injury. Now, Liam Eichenberg wasn't having his best season. Hadn't had the best time since making the jump up to the NFL. I answered this question before about moving Connor Williams from centre to left guard and bringing a centre, or do you just outright bringing a left guard?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take your answer has not changed, but so my question to you is more, is it now imperative that the Dolphins bring in offensive line help and starter quality, not just for this season, but going forward as well? Or do you keep Snell at right guard,
and put
so right
Austin
tackle,
Jackson and put Austin Jackson at left guard?
friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson left guard? Yeah.
So that's what I thought. That was my first natural inclination, was to put Austin Jackson at left guard because Eichenberg went down. Then I thought, where's Solomon McKinley? What's that guy doing? You know what I'm saying? Was he that bad, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have swore he had a pretty good first season. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. I don't know. Here's my thing, Kadeem. Yes, there's no such thing as too many offensive linemen or too many defense or too many linemen, period. You can never have enough linemen and you can never have enough DBs. So if you could only have one, yeah, I'm gonna say, all right, go get a lineman. But again, when I just said that O-line doesn't look horrific, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like the 32nd ranked O-line anymore. There was a window of games where Teddy and Skyler were back there, and we were like, yo, do we want Tua to come back behind this line? You remember that?
Yeah.
Like, so now it makes me think, does Tua just make the line look better because he's getting the ball out fast enough? You see what I'm saying? So for my dollar, I don't have to make those decisions, and I don't have to put in the time to try to deduce where the problem is. Like, who is the problem? What is the problem? Where is the problem? So that's someone who gets paid more than I do, whether it's Coach or Chris Greer. That has to get determined, because I don't know if the line is fixed or if Tua's getting the ball out faster and it's making the line look better. But at the same time, all of those are needs. We need more DBs and we need more O linemen. So me and you were both on the podcast on Fins Up Friday and said, yes, we think they make a trade before the first. So I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah, I think credit to where the offensive line, or credit to where credit due in terms of the offensive line. That touchdown to Gesicki and the one to Waddle, where Tua had time in the pocket to progress through his reads. The third down throw to Tyreek Hill, which Tua had time in the pocket. That being said, yeah, let's get a starter, be at right tackle, be at center, be at left guard. I still believe something needs to be done. Jerry Jeudy had himself a game in London that the Broncos won, so I'm going to naturally assume that the Broncos aren't going to blow it up. They're probably going to keep Bradley Chubb, keep Jerry Jeudy. But the other one, do you get Teron Armstead? So do you know how Teron Armstead tried to put, or I believe we put Drew Brees and Tua in contact so they can, talk that kind of stuff. Do we get Agent Teron Armstead on the phone again and say, yo, call Alvin Kamara? Now, I believe you said you wanted to see CMC in Miami if it meant that the Bills didn't get CMC.
Yeah.
And it is believed that the Bills reached out to Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Do you make that trade to stop the Bills from getting him, even though it seems at the moment the Bills aren't getting him? Or do you just make the trade regardless because it's Alvin Kamara? Or do you, again, focus on other areas of the team, mostly DB, linebacker, offensive line?
So that's crazy, because I thought about that when I seen the Bills trying to acquire him, or the rumor was that they were trying to acquire him. And I was trying to wonder if the Bills are playing chess or checkers. Like, Are the Bills trying to put that out there so the Dolphins could try to, waste assets? You see what I'm saying? Or is there a real interest here? Because I actually like Alvin Kamara better than CMC. I think Alvin Kamara is the better running back today. But he's going to be suspended next year for sure for some amount of time, 100%. And if I look at his contract right now, just put it up on Spotrac, he is making 11 and a half this year, 11 next year, 11, 8, and get this, 25 million. And
I can see what I'm doing that.
In 2025. So, yeah, they're going to try to get out of that. So, here's the thing. But obviously, everyone knows he's not going to get that. So, the dead cap for next season is at 19 million. So, that means you're going to keep him next year. However, after next season, which is 2023, you can cut bait with him and only accrue a $9 million dead cap. That's a lot, but he's only on the books for 11.8. That's a lot of money. So this is another running back you'll have for 2.5 seasons. If we were to trade for Alvin Kamara this season, he would be on the Dolphins for 2.5 seasons, and we would give him 22, 23, about $30 million for 3 seasons. So 2.5 seasons. I don't love it. I don't mind it, but I don't think we need it. Like, I do think Mostert is doing his thing. I do think I don't know if Alvin Kamara comes in on the Miami Dolphins tomorrow and makes it look like, oh, look how better the Dolphins run game is. I don't think that is what happens. And I don't know if you're willing to pay $30 million so the Bills don't get Alvin Kamara. Not only $30 million, but a pick too, because you're going to have to give them a pick. You have to give them assets, and I don't know if you're willing to do that, because I don't think I am. But yeah,
it's one of those things where, yeah, I think it's more the jump from when Mostert isn't in. So again, we mentioned when Chase Edmonds came in, and the offense kind of seemed to stall a bit.
right.
If your 1-2 punch is Alvin Kamara and Raheem Mostert, then I don't think there's a conversation about going conservative. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally, as I had a conversation, Kenneth Walker, the Seahawks running back? It's definitely Walker.
Kenneth Touche is 24. Kenneth Walker the third
just had a beautiful run for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those things where, and talk about the draft, I always get angry because I'm just like, should have had two first round picks, but it's what it is. But I have to believe that I would like to think that the needs in the draft are linebacker, DB, and offensive line. And to give up one of those draft picks, regardless of I say regardless. Listen, if the Saints are giving up Kamara for a 7th round pick, you do it and don't even worry about it. But to give up a somewhat premium draft pick and to spend that much money when the Dolphins aren't flush with cash at the moment, I think with all these conversations about players from Kamara to CMC to Jerry Jeudy, listen, if the pick is right, then you can't say no. But especially with the injury to Liam Eichenberg, in my opinion, I don't get paid to make the decision, but we have go-time Dolphins. Offensive line has to be the priority before the trade deadline closes. And I guess, if anything, the injury to Liam Eichenberg means that teams are going to increase the price because they know the Dolphins are desperate. Yeah. But I think at this point, you have to just bite the bullet and say, you know what? It is what it is, because the Dolphins have now lost, even if you're not playing at a starter level, they have lost a starter on the offensive line. And yes, you can plug him in with Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson was just starting right tackle. So the Dolphins are now officially down an offensive lineman for the season. And next man up is a great story, but let's next man up with a guy from outside who's gonna,
Yeah.
play to an absolute all-pro level.
Yeah. 1-2 punch isn't $30 million though. So you might want to find a 1-2 punch out there, someone out there that's less than $30 million. However, I think this Dolphins offseason is going to look more like the one we just passed, where they spent money on people to come in as opposed to building through the draft. And it's because the window's open right now. So I don't think they're going to concentrate too much on the draft this year. I think they're going to make sure in free agency they acquire O-line help. I think they make sure they acquire whatever help they want in free agency this year and just let the draft come to them, or they move draft pieces like, hey, we're trying to win now, so we don't mind paying for it right now, like Alvin Kamara, if you're going to pay for a running back. But I highly doubt the Alvin Kamara talk is real. But I think if you were to acquire Alvin Kamara, it would be for a minimum of a third-round pick, minimum. So you're probably looking at multiple third-round picks, but it's going to be a minimum of a third-round pick.